Hi, good afternoon. This is the John Gaunt podcast. We're doing a special one today because of the Aston Villa scandal. We need Prince William to speak up now. He must get this ban reversed. This is anti-Semite. This is Jew hatred in full open display. Do you agree with me? And we need a red card for that man behind me. He's the Chief Constable of the West Midlands, Craig Guilford. I'll tell you all about him as the show progresses. If you've never watched me before, welcome to the show. Just feel free to join in, but make sure you press the like button. No political correctness here, no treading on eggshells. I just tell you my truth and you tell me yours. It's that simple. Let's get cracking. Good afternoon and welcome to the John Gaunt Show. Today, I'm talking about one of the most disgraceful decisions I've ever seen in British sport, and I'm sure you agree with me. Maccabi Tel Aviv fans, many of them Jewish, many of them actually British citizens, have now been banned from attending the Europa League clash at Villa Park. Just let that sink in for a moment. In 2025, in the United Kingdom, Jewish fans are being barred from a football match because they're Jewish. Just a week or two after two Jews were savagely murdered by an Islamist terrorist piece of scum, this is what's happening on the streets. And here's something else I can't believe. I'm actually going to praise our Prime Minister, Keir Starmer. He has said clearly this is the wrong decision. And for once, Keir Starmer is bang on the money. He's absolutely right. It's cowardly, it's discriminatory, and it's a stain on the reputation of our great country, the United Kingdom, and indeed on football, our national game. We're being told by people like the Chief Constable and his little committee that it's all about safety. But is that really true? Surely what it's about is appeasement and political pressure. And if it is about safety, why are the authorities not doing their job and policing the match properly instead of punishing innocent supporters? If you've got a view, whichever side of the argument you're on, just put it in the comment box now and I'll read them out as the show goes on. But let me just tell you something about this match. If they can't cope with a few thousand people turning up for a football game midweek, how do they cope with the Palestinian hate marches every other weekend or every weekend in London and indeed in Birmingham? They cope with them. How come they can't cope with this? This was all started by the independent Muslim MP for the area. He set up a petition. I'm saying this is definitely appeasement. And before we go on to Maccabi Tel Aviv, let me just tell you, their fans, they did have trouble when they were playing their latest game, a game a few months ago in Amsterdam against Ajax. But the facts of that are this: 62 arrests there were that night, but 49 of them were Dutch people. 10 were Israelis. 10. 5 injuries, all minor, and all of those were injuries to Israelis, Jews. They're the facts. But you've got people like Zara Sultana, who is the MP for Fossil Road in Coventry, my hometown, and indeed the Gaza Strip, who are stirring the shit. She's now saying all Israeli teams should be banned. Who does she think she is? She got booted out of Labour. She set up a new party where there's been all kinds of accusations about where the money's going with Jeremy Corbyn. She should shut her mouth and look after the people of Coventry. Are you with me or against me? And whilst we're asking, where are the people who are missing in action? Where is Prince William? He's Aston Villa's arguably most famous fan. We need his leadership now. Why isn't he speaking out? He's going to be the king. He wants to unite the nation. Football is all about uniting people. If people kick off and get into trouble and have fights, arrest the stupid bastards and lock them up. Give them the full weight of the law. But don't say just because you is a Jew, you can't go to the football. Prince William, you must speak out. And then there's the chief constable. He's still in post, but he shouldn't be if he can't defend openly this disgraceful decision. I've seen this prat. He just retired and then got the job. So it was something to do with his pension, making sure he gets more pension. There's always pictures of him on Midlands Today on the BBC, visiting a Sikh temple or going to see Muslims, and he's always got his head covered and he's always playing the game. Oh, he's into diversity. Well, diversity also applies to Jewish, white people. It applies to other people in this country, not just Muslims. This Muslim independent MP is a shit stirrer and a troublemaker. I know, and now they're saying it's about the safety of the Israeli fans. What a load of cobblers. This is all about appeasement. Am I right or am I wrong? Please tell me either way. This is a moment surely to draw a line in the sand. Football, the beautiful game, should unite, not divide. And today, I'm going to pull this decision apart, piece by piece, name names, and demand that it's reversed. I know that they've set up a cabinet meeting to look at it, but technically, policing in the local area has to be done by the local chief constable. I'm not sure Starmer will be able to reverse it. He should be, because this is just going to spread more division, more hate, and dare I say even, perhaps, more acts of terror. We've got to stop this before it starts a dangerous precedent for every supporter of football in this country, but also for every single citizen. I want your views. I want some passion from you. So let's get into it. Put your comments up now and let's get talking. I think this is just an absolute disgrace. It should never have got to this stage. Are you with me or against me? And if you are watching at the moment on Facebook, YouTube, please feel free to repost the stream. Let's get more people involved. And if you're liking what I'm saying or enjoying the fact we're going to have a proper debate about it, please press the like button. The more likes we get, the more viewers we get, the better it is for the algorithm. My name's John Gaunt. I'm calling for the head of the chief constable. I think he should be sacked or he should resign. If he thought this was such a tricky thing, why didn't he refer up to Starmer? Why didn't he refer up to the government of the day? Did he miss the fact that 2 Jews were murdered just 2 weeks ago in a synagogue? What planet is this politically correct woke idiot living on? I say the chief constable, Craig Guilford, should go. He should go and he should resign and he can stick his pension where the sun don't shine. As for the MP who stirred it all up in the first place, Ayoub, or whatever his name is, he should not be in the Commons. His name is Ayoub Khan, and he's putting the boot in again. He slammed the Prime Minister for jumping to false narratives on Maccabi Tel Aviv fans, and he says the decision was not taken lightly. No, but you've been celebrating. I've seen your video. It's not taken lightly, and that the advisory group have deemed this match high risk, and they've made their position clear. No, they haven't. They're cowards. They're appeasing radical people like you. They're appeasing Islamists. I'm not sure if you're an Islamist, but they're appeasing the dregs who are living in our society. If you commit a crime at a football match, any form of hooliganism, of course, you should be arrested and put before 12 good men in true. People have been showing me the video of some of the Tel Aviv fans and some of the things they were chanting at the match or before the match or after the match with Ajax. Yes, it's horrible. But one guy says, oh, you support rapists, do you? What is he on about? Because one of the chants was we're going to rape your women or something. I don't condone that. I condemn that. But then I went and looked at the facts. And these are the facts. 62 arrests, 49 of which were Dutch people, 10 of which were Israelis, stroke Jews, 5 injuries, all minor, and they were all of Israeli fans. The narrative that this Muslim idiot has put forward is the false narrative. And he is causing division. And if the police can look after marches in London, Birmingham, Manchester, all happening at the same time with thousands. I mean, evidently there was thousands in London the other week, but they can't police a football match midweek where maybe there'd be 2,000 or 3,000 foreign people attending, people out from outside the country. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. This is all about appeasing the radical Muslims in this country. And I've had enough of it. I don't know whether you have. And then I had another person saying, oh, you're supporting raping of women or whatever the shit they came out with, right? So, okay, if we want to ban them, so when we've got a terrorist, like the one last week, who's a Muslim, do we then round up every Muslim in the country and shoot them, murder them, send them abroad? I don't know. No, we don't, because that's like the Catholics. When the IRA were in operation, do we round up every Catholic because they might be a member of a terrorist organisation and lock them all up? No, we don't. We did do it to some people we shouldn't have done, but there we go. You know what I'm talking about. This is just madness. Absolute madness. And if we allow this match to be banned so that they can't, well, it is banned at the moment, that they can't come, you know what's going to happen? They'll just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. We've got to stop this now. In fact, Keir Starmer, when you're having your meetings, you should be thinking about the way you've allowed the Palestinian stroke Hamas stroke hate marches develop. Why didn't you crack down on them months ago? Why didn't you crack a few skulls to make that omelette? You would have done if it was Tommy Robinson supporters. You even did it when it was, not you weren't in power, but the powers that be did it when the Countryside Alliance protested. I'll tell you why not. Because people like him, that chief constable, they love a bit of two-tier policing. Then they know they'll get two-tier justice. Look what happened to people like Lucy Connolly. Look what happened to anybody who was upset about Southport. Look at the migrant hotels where they wanted to make the narrative, and Starmer's guilty of this as well. They wanted to make the narrative that those women are far right. Everybody's far right if they don't agree with this liberal, woke, open-toed, sandal, Birkenstock wearing, Guardian reading. Oh, let's go to Catalonia and go and read the Guardian and go skinny dipping. Everyone who's like that, who doesn't believe in that shit, is far right. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. And Starmer, you are beginning to reap what you have sown. You can put it right today by coming down really hard and saying this game will go ahead. And listen to me now. I've got a feeling they'll come up and say, I'll tell you what to do. Let's play it in another city. Let's play it at Wembley. Let's play it where we can control it. No. This game has to be in Villa Park. This has to be at the Villa. And we have to say, no, we're not putting up with this intimidation, this twisting of the narrative. Whew. Are you with me or are you against me? What do you want Starmer to do? Prince William, if you don't speak out on this, you're a bloody disgrace. You're going to be the king. You should be uniting our great nation. Get on with it and do it now. If you like what I'm talking about and you'd like to support these independent podcasts, feel free, click the little $sign and donate whatever you can on the screen. Alternatively, go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt. That's my name. And donate whatever you can. Buy me a coffee or buy me a beer. It's just a metaphor. Yeah. But the easiest way, if you're watching on YouTube now, is just to click that $sign and donate whatever you can afford. And can I also say to you, if you fancy doing that, a big thank you. But the biggest thing you can do to help me is press the like button and go to John Gaunt on YouTube, the John Gaunt TV. It's called John Gaunt TV or something like that. Just go there and click the subscribe button. That's free. Then you'll always know when I'm going live. And I'll tell you what, you're going to love what I talk about. Let's move on. Let's go to our first commentator of the day, Gary Martin. He's reposted the stream on Twitter. Thank you, Gary. Much appreciated. Don't forget, you can do that as well. Maltus 13. Top cops are weak liberals, thanks to Blair's politicisation of the police after 1997, i.e. Hogan Howe. Oh, yeah, he was the most useless. Well, not the most useless. There's been other ones as well. Boss of the Metropolitan Police. He then says, Ian Blair. Oh, yeah, he sadly passed away. I've interviewed him many, many times, but he was about as tough as a blancmange. And now we've got Mark Rowley. Well said. I agree with you. Craig Urquhart says something deeper behind this than just the fear of violence, in my opinion. Well, the police can't have any fear, can they, Craig? That's not their job. Their job is to police. Their job is to police. Maltus 13 wants to say something else on YouTube. He says 1930s Germany in Amsterdam and the UK. Jews being baited and hunted down in the streets, beaten up and battered, vile, brutal, shocking attacks laughed off by Labour. Well, you see, the problem that Labour can't actually ignore is that when Corbyn was in charge, they were clearly an anti-Jew party, an anti-Semite party. He's now gone off with Zara Sultana, MP for the Fossil Road in Coventry and Gaza, kicked out of Labour. Now she's working with him, and she's today calling for all Israeli teams to be banned. She says it's like South Africa. It's nothing like South Africa, you stupid mayor. Why do you want to stir it up? Why do you want to do this? Don't you believe in live and let live? Let's go to Peter on YouTube. We can police thousands every weekend in London when people march on the Palestinian marches. Why can't a simple football match be policed? You are absolutely right, Peter. You are absolutely correct. And that chief constable, woke chief constable, he has to answer that question. And what about Galatasaray, the Turkish side? I would imagine most of their travelling fans are Muslims. Would we ban them? And we know what Galatasaray fans are like and what their reputation is. When you go to play there, because I used to work at TalkSport, so lots of professional footballers have told me, it's basically welcome to hell. Meant to be as frightening as hell to play there. Would we ban them, Chief Constable, with your rainbow laces? Let me hazard a guess. Probably not. Would it because they is Muslim? Two-tier policing has no place in this society. I see the police commissioner, the crime and police commissioner for the area has condemned this decision. He wants it reversed. Good on you. But we haven't heard enough from the mayor. We had some weasel words from the former mayor, the Conservative Andy Street. Get a fucking backbone and say we won't tolerate this. Let's go. Facebook. Welcome, Andy Barnes. Welcome to the modern world. We've had to live with this for years. There are no-go areas. Well, don't forget, Andy, only a couple of weeks ago, a week or so ago, Jenrick said his comments about Handsworth, just down the road, of course. He said He didn't see any white faces and people have slaughtered him for it. He said, look, people are living individual lives. Well, if you go to Aston, it is a bit like that. I've been to the Villa many times. Let me just put something on the record. I'm a Sky Blue, so I hate the Villa. They nick all our best players, although they won't be able to anymore because we're now magnificent. We're going to wave at them as we go to the Premiership and they fall into the Championship. Just a joke. But if you go to where the Villa ground is, it is like a different culture around there. It is. No point in denying it. And there's many and multitude of reasons why. But what we need to do is use football to bring people together, not to divide them. Appeasing radical Islam is the start of a very slippery slope in this country, says Denise Deacon on Facebook. If we don't stop the madness, this will not end well for this country. I've got to agree with you, Denise. I have got to agree with you totally. It's a terrible situation. And we can't afford to fall into it. We don't want to ghettoise. There's too much of that already, which is what I guess Jenrick was trying to say in his clumsy way the other week. We need to change this. And woke police officers and committees need to understand it's a two-way street. Thank you for your comments. If you'd like to comment, feel free. Just write up a little comment on the bottom and I'll read it out. And I'll just move a bit. Because there he is. There's Prince William. And I'm saying Prince William needs to speak out. He is our future king. And I know they're not meant to be political, but this is above political. This is about the citizenship of our great nation. As a Villa fan, he should say, listen, let's come together. How can we help? How can we sort out the policing? If this chief constable can't police a couple of thousand fans coming in from Israel, why is he doing the job? And if there was a Palestinian march, well, there probably is one this weekend. Is he policing that? But he can't police a midweek football match? I'd love to have your views on that. If you've never watched me before, or even listened to me on a podcast, my name's John Gaunt. Every day, Monday to Thursday, I do a live show at half 6 in the evening. It's on YouTube, John Gaunt TV. It's on Twitter and it's on Facebook. And I also do a show on a Sunday afternoon. There'll be one this week as well. We talk about the issues that matter to you, the big stories. And we talk about it, as you can see, in a non-politically correct way. We just ask you to be honest and state your opinion. It's fully independent. So I've got some advertising revenue now, but it's minor. Mostly it's funded by people saying, I like what that Gaunty does. I'm going to chuck in a few quid. And if you'd like to do that, please do so now. If you look on the YouTube video, you'll just below it, you'll see a little $sign. Click on that and you can donate whatever you want. Or alternatively, open up another window and go to www.alloneWordBuyMeACoffee.com/John Gaunt. And you can donate a $5 to get me a beer or a coffee. It's metaphorical. I don't spend it on beer or coffee. I spend it on developing these videos. So if you could do that, it would really help, because I'm telling you now, we're heading to a clampdown. You want to hear what I say about Starmer on other days if you've never watched me before. Starmer is a disgrace. Starmer needs booting. He needs booting out now. Absolute disgrace. This China story is not going to go away. This is probably a nice little diversion for him. However, on this subject, I do agree with him. Football has to be above politics. Football is football. When they all took the knee, it made me want to vomit. And I see they're now thinking of doing that again. Football should unite, not divide. But this chief constable and his little committee, under pressure from Muslim radicals, has bowed to it. Where does that end? We know where it's beginning. Where does it end? James R.C. Irvin, he says, I'm a Yank, John, and I'm glad to see you standing up for Great Britain. I've been speaking about your show to many, many others over here across the pond. Thank you. Well, thank you, my friend. Let's go to Hula Hoop. Welcome to Birmingham, Stan. Except for Jews. It feels a bit like that, doesn't it? I don't know what it must. If you are Jewish and you got a comment on this, I'd like to hear you. And and then of course now we've got the extreme lefties and the Islamists saying, "Oh, you're confusing Jews with Israel. You shouldn't do that. That's wrong. You don't let us do that." Get a life. It's quite clear what this ban is about. Why that man set up that petition. They're not going to come here. I mean, I've just told you what the arrest level was. They're not coming to Aston to beat up and wreck the area. Although, if they did a bit of vandalism, it'd probably improve the value of the houses. It's a squalid shithole of a dump. Let's just call it what it is. Yeah? But this chief constable now says, oh, it's about the safety of them. So, are you suggesting the local inhabitants, majority population Muslim, you think they're going to attack the Israelis stroke Jews, do you? Well, that's bad news, isn't it? And also, isn't that a bit racist? Isn't that a bit Islamophobic, Chief Constable? And your job is to police it. And part of the police's job is to keep the peace. Craig Urquhart says, was the MP elected independently on the Support Palestine ticket, John? Correct. And then he says, correct me if I'm thinking of someone else. No, that's the one. Just like where Jess Phillips, just up the road, she nearly lost her seat by about 600 votes she won. This is all part of the so-called Red Wall that many, many people are concerned about. And certainly Starmer is. That's why he's also playing to that Muslim gallery. That's why he can never mention Jew hate or anti-Semitism without also saying, oh, and of course, Islamophobia. So in the same sentence, him and the Muslim Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, they talk about the dreadful murder and they condemn it, which is right, of these two fellas in the synagogue. But then they say, but it was also wrong to attack that mosque in Peacehaven. Yes, it is wrong to attack mosques, but nobody died. It's not quite on the same moral plane, is it? Thank God. These guys were killed, admittedly one by a policeman, in their synagogue, in their place of worship. How can we forget that? Well, we can't, is the answer. And these Palestinian Hamas terrorists supporting protesters, they're upset because Donald Trump, the devil incarnate, has brought peace to the Middle East. I'm sure they would much rather there was still violence. They're odd and they're living amongst us. I just find it incredible. If it were purely about violence, John, says Peter 2704 on YouTube, are Millwall next for a ban? And other clubs with violent reputations? That's a very fair point, Peter. And this is where, and I'm sure Starmer, as a football fan, where he goes to the Arsenal in an executive box that he doesn't pay for because he's the king of freebies, but I'm sure as a football fan, he probably has made that kind of connection himself. There are certain clubs with a reputation. I mean, for example, Birmingham City, the Zulu Warriors. But do we ban them? Do we ban? No, we don't. But Birmingham, every time Birmingham come to Coventry City and lose, like they got their asses slapped the other week, they wreck our toilets in our beautiful stadium. Shall we then just ban everyone with a Birmingham accent? You can't come to Coventry. Oh. No, we don't. We police it. We deal with it. We arrest them. We get them before the courts, hopefully. And hopefully they get a sentence, although in Keir Starmer's lovely-dovey world, that probably won't happen, will it? Nobody gets a proper punishment. Look at the rapists that they're releasing at the moment. Look at the amount of people who are getting in at Dover, these so-called flip-flop warriors who come in. We don't even know who they are. Look at the amount of terrible, terrible rapes and sexual offences that are happening by some of these people. I'm not saying all of them. But the problem is we don't know who they are. I would be concentrating on that first and foremost, rather than law-abiding Israelis who just want to follow their football team. Wouldn't you? I think it's absolutely disgraceful. But like I say, Starmer, he's trying to deal with it now. He's having meetings at the moment. Also, it's a welcome distraction for him. But I've got a feeling they'll say, oh, let's play it in Manchester. Let's play it behind closed doors. No fans can go. Why punish everyone? Because one Muslim MP has stirred the pot. No. This is Great Britain. You step out of line, you'll get punished, you'll get caught, you'll get put before the courts. That's the way it should be. David KT on Facebook says the police have bowed down to the Islamists once again. It does feel like that. I understand where you're coming from with that attitude, David, on Facebook. Marie Callow, well said, John, spot on. Starmer and his crew fall over backwards to appease Muslims, which is why they've dragged their feet on the inquiry into the Pakistani rape gangs. It's all about votes. Marie, Facebook, I agree with you. It's terrifying. They still haven't managed to get anyone to hold these inquiries. These young girls, and they were mainly girls, they're now women, but there was also boys, don't forget, but they were mostly white English girls. No one believed them at the time that they were being raped and passed around like pieces of meat. In fact, the meat would get treated fairer than the way these girls were. There'd be some kind of religious slaughter. But the slaughtering of our innocent girls, innocence, no. And then they weren't believed. And then as they got older, they weren't believed. And now the inquiry, Starmer had to be dragged, kicking and screaming, effectively, to hold a public inquiry. He wanted to brush it under the carpet. Why? Because he's scared of the Muslim bloc vote, which, in my opinion, is a racist stance anyway. Just because you're Muslim, you're not necessarily going to vote one way. There's good and bad in all communities. The point I was making earlier about the football. If we don't stamp down on this game today, and if our future king doesn't say something, we're lost. I mean that. I don't think that's over dramatic. I think we've lost the soul of the country. We've already sold ourselves out to the Chinese. I'm surprised they have to do any spying. We basically buy everything from them. As was it Mrs. Thatcher who said it, or somebody criticising her? You know, the price of everything, but the value of nothing. We are in dangerous times. By the way, I'm working my balls off here. I would have thought by now somebody would have donated something. Just click the little dollar sign and give me a few quid. Please help me out. Likewise, go to www.buymeacoffee.com/John Gaunt. It's got 22 likes. That's good. I've got to finish in a minute. But don't forget, I am John Gaunt. You can find me on YouTube, on my YouTube page, which is John Gaunt TV. You can find me on Twitter, Facebook, and here on YouTube. And also do a podcast version so you can listen to it on audio when you're walking your dog. Dead simple. Just follow John Gaunt. And if you can donate, please do so, because I want to keep these going. I shouldn't even be here, by the way. Friday's my day off. I'm still going to try and make it down the pub later, but we shall see. In my opinion, nobody in power should be any religion except for Christian. Or at least they should accept we're in a Christian country. Islam in politics doesn't work in this country. It will always divide. That's your view, Denise. I'm not sure I totally agree with you, but I see where you're coming from. Lilycat in Alderbury. Jewish people are saying it's like 1930s Germany. This is how it all started. You're right, Lily. They must feel under siege. And then she's done another message saying it'll be Christians next. I thought, when I first glanced at that, I thought you said it'll be Christmas next. Well, it's already happened with Christmas. Birmingham, of course, were the people who started up the Festival of Winterville, because they were evidently thinking that certain religions would be offended by the word Christmas. You know what, as well, when this all kicked off, it wasn't Muslims or Hindus or Sikhs. It was trendy white liberals who become chief constables who thought, oh no, we mustn't cause any offence. We can't call Christmas Christmas. It better be the winter festival. That's where the rot set in maybe 20 years ago. I was working on Radio WM when all this garbage started. Do you see where I'm coming from? And you know what? I think immigration's been a great thing for this country. Well-controlled, managed immigration is brilliant. No problem at all. What I'm against, and I'll tell you it now, I'm against uncontrolled immigration, whether it's legal or illegal, but particularly when it's illegal, when there's thousands of them coming over in dinghies with their flip-flops. It's not fair on them and it's not fair on us. We don't know who they are. And then we put them in 4-star hotels with squeezy soap. I say put them in old army camps behind barbed wire so they can't actually go out. Process them quickly, which, of course, the last government didn't do either. So it's the whole political class from having to go at. But we can't have a situation where just because you can get in a dinghy in Calais, you can come and live a life of benefits. No, it's ludicrous. It's unsustainable. Starmer's not even handling it. He can't even deal with it, can he? So this is a welcome diversion, as I keep telling you. But we've got to change that. And you know what? I got lots of ethnic friends who basically say exactly the same as me. They came in through the correct routes. They have made a life here. Their kids have done well in education on the whole. They're working. They're doing something. They're contributing. They're making Britain a greater Britain. But you have to have borders. Without borders, you're not a country. You're just a region, which, of course, is what the EU wanted. So the only way to stop illegal immigration is to rip up the ECHR, put the army on the beach, put the navy in the channel, deport everybody who, as soon as their flip-flops touch the sand, get them out and say, if you want to come to our great country and get our brilliant passport, you have to do it in the correct manner. That's it. That's me finished. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly feel better for getting that off my chest. I'm back on Sunday. Not sure what time because it's my wife's Lisa's birthday. So probably in the morning, I'll do one. But I'll definitely be back on Monday at 6:30 in the evening, like I am always, Monday to Thursday, well, most days. Please feel free to join me again. If you've enjoyed it, bookmark it. Start following me on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you want to come from. But the Facebook, YouTube is probably the best because you can then subscribe. It doesn't cost anything, but it means you'll get notifications every time I go live. That's about it then. I'm glad I hope you've enjoyed it. And as I say, if there's any breaking news on this, I might do another quick one later. But I doubt whether there will be. I think they're going to get away with this. It's a disgrace. It's an absolutely disgrace. Multiculturalism doesn't work. We know that, but we can have a diverse country and we can all rub up against each other. And we can all be nice people and we can respect each other's religion. I think all religion's rubbish, but I still respect people if they want to be religious. What I can't stand is the shit-stirring monsters. And we've seen a few of them. And the appeasers. I'm talking to you, Chief Constable. The appeasers. Stop it. Stop it now. So, until we meet again, if you've got kids, give them a kiss. Give them a hug. Hey, hey, hey. Don't forget to tell them you love them. My name's John Gaunt. Catch up with me at John Gaunt TV on YouTube. See you soon.